Welcome back to another Helldivers 2 video. My name is DPG, and in today's video I'll be going over features within the options menu that you may not have known were available to you. Starting out in the gameplay tab, we have the Remember Aim mode. Having this function off will make your aiming start in the third person mode. I find having this setting to off will allow you to navigate close quarters engagements easier, as you're not forced into a first person point of view while aiming. Now, on the contrary, the global function enabled will cause your weapons to use the last selected aim mode. I find global to be detrimental to my own gameplay, as you will not always want to be in first person view, especially in a high density enemy area. Now, if you can remember what weapons you're entering into first person point of view with, such as the long distance weapons, you might want to try using the per weapon function. This could in turn be very beneficial, as you're able to engage in long distance and short distance engagements easier, as this function will remember which weapon you were and were not in first person point of view. Weapon functions set to no will cause the Helldiver to have to cycle through their scopes and firing modes anytime they swap their weapons, so set this to yes. Weapon switch mode. Now, this is only a function for controller users. Default mode will make it to where the hold the weapon swap button will switch to your special weapon, and tapping will switch between primary and secondary. Then on the Helldivers Classic side, we'll have it to where holding the weapon swap button will switch to your secondary, and tapping will switch between primary and special weapon. Auto climb during sprint turned on will allow you to vault over objects without the need of pressing any additional vaulting buttons. I personally have it set to on, as it's one less thing I have to think about. Having it set to off will benefit you though in preventing you from vaulting over a resupply pod, for example, when trying to grab some ammo. Dynamic aim mode is for PC users. Turned on will give you the ability to enter in and out of first person view when tapping the aim button. I personally have this turned on for the versatility of entering aim modes very quickly when double tapping the aim button. Moving on to the display tab, we have camera shake strength. Now, one thing that makes Helldivers 2 look so cinematic is the camera shake strength. If you are someone who gets headaches very easily from the wild camera shake that happens in game, I would suggest turning it off. Otherwise, if you want the cinematic experience with less impact to your gameplay performance, I would suggest weak to medium camera shake strength. Vertical field of view will give you the ability to see more of the area that surrounds you the higher this number is. My suggestion is to find what field of view is right for you personally. I for one am not a fan of the fisheye view you get at max field of view, and I find that the higher the number this is, it kind of messes with the estimation of like where like a bile spewer can actually hit and miss you, so keep in mind when you're putting these numbers in. Really quick, in our audio tab we have midnight mode. I would imagine this would be very beneficial for those using a speaker device for their audio source, as this raises the normally quiet sounds in game if you're listening to your audio on a low volume. In the HUD tab, we have a lot of functionality here that will change the game dramatically, both visually and in difficulty. All of your HUD can be literally hidden, giving you one of the best cinematic experiences you will have in a video game. Turning your HUD off would mean all of the stratagem inputs would have to be based off of your memory, and lack of a map and compass on your location would mean that the navigation will be solely based on your visibility of each location. Accessibility tab, we have our text and speech languages. Now there are 15 different text languages and 8 speech languages. Now I believe that this setting is the most game changing, as the voice lines are changed for every character in game, as well as the opening cinematic scene. My personal favorite language is the Japanese one.
民主主義人類の生きる道ああこんにちは
自由が導くままに
自由に呼ばれて参上
自由の導くままに何としても民主主義を守り抜くんだスーパーほら黒いの
We also have the ability to change the reticle color and outline. Also, you probably turned this off as soon as you booted up Helldivers 2 for the first time, and that option is the text-to-speech option. Not sure who really wants this, but they do have it. Now, the last setting I wanted to touch base on is for mouse and keyboard users. I get the question all the time of how do I move and call stratagems at the same time. Now, under mouse and keyboard, under the general tab, go down to stratagem. This will show you the direction inputs for stratagems. For me personally, I use an MMO mouse with 12 numbers to my thumb, so I opted to use numbers as my directions. Another route you could take would be setting your inputs to the arrow keys on your keyboard. If you do have an MMO mouse, I would highly suggest the setup you see on screen, as using arrow keys will prevent you from moving your camera during your inputs. And that's going to wrap up today's video. Let me know in the comments section which obscure settings you like to use to enhance your ability to spread democracy. Hit that liberty-inducing like button and subscribe for more Helldivers 2 content. Thanks again, guys. See you in the next one, and take care, everybody.
You are clear, but you're gonna